to a special edition of This Week in Geek. It's our season... Did we call it season 2? I don't care. It's March 24th, 2021. There was almost no geek news this week, except two big pieces of geek news, things that happened. And we also have a special guest tonight. So let me introduce everybody. We've got Elil from the League of Geeks.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we've got Scott from Scotty Smurf. I got to giggle out of him. There you go. And we've got, wait a minute, the glasses again. It's Elliott Serano. I fall for that. He's gone again. I fall for it every time. We've got Elliott Serano. I forget your title, the Chicago Geek or the Geek
King of Geeks.
Or King of Geeks. Okay.
Kind of King of Geeks, but I'm kind of like, since COVID, I'm kind of like that deposed ruler who's been living like in another country in exile.
Okay.
But I'll come back.
You'll come back.
I shall return.
Yeah. Well, send your hand first. And tonight, since he couldn't be with us, I'm doing an old chestnut of ours. I brought the Chris puppet out.
Oh my, that's wow,
Terrifying.
Oh, I love it.
The fact that Rob has all these puppets is even more concerning.
Yeah. The little puppet I have to redo because it's got hair. So
I was told there'd be no puppets.
You were lied to.
This is triggering me, my friend.
And let me just say something, Elliot, you've been on plenty of things with me. You knew there would be puppets and you knew there would be triggering events.
Yeah. Well, I was on the set of Sesame Street once and those Muppets are real handsy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And we're not talking Miss Piggy. We're talking like Snuffy. I've heard things about that guy.
Oscar the Grouch wants you to visit him in his can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's frightening.
I mean, I might.
Speaking of Muppets, Elliot doesn't know this, but Scott is as close to a Muppet as we have. He actually was Grimace. He revealed that on This Week in Geek at one point. He actually dressed up in the Grimace costume.
and the Hamburglar. I did it for parade events
at the same time.
I will say, I remember. I mean, of course, you got to remember Grimace. Grimace is that one of those characters that McDonald's refuses to resurrect. I don't know why. I mean, we all, thought it was great. But I did not know he also briefly you would see evil Grimace. You had the other Grimace.
There was a dark timeline Grimace.
There was a dark Grimace.
There was. I kind of remember that.
But I think he was called Evil Grimace, if I remember correctly. Somebody check me, Google it. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know. But I remember it was Grimace, like a bad Grimace. He didn't look happy, which is ironic. You would think a character named Grimace would always look unhappy.
Now you're not thinking of the green one that was his uncle, right?
What? There's whole mythology around Grimace that I'm unaware of.
Yeah, well, when they did the Shamrock Shakes, they would bring out his Uncle O'Grimacy, and he was green.
Yeah, see, that I would remember. All I remember was that he was supposed to be. I remember as a kid thinking, "Is this the dark side of Grimace?"
That's how Scott got in the costume. Actually, was the dark side of Grimace. Grimace. Scott also revealed what Grimace is. I never knew this. Did you know he's a shake?
Okay. I'll buy that he's a shake. I'm assuming he's a shake that escaped from the cup.
Yeah,
fine.
but
why is he? But where does the term Grimace come from?
The flavor's purple. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a shake. That's what the character was supposed to be. And now that you've said there's an evil Grimace, is that like dysentery Grimace? Like it's the shake that causes dysentery and he becomes this darkest timeline Grimace?
They all cause dysentery.
Oh, silly
me. You know what? Speaking of gastrointestinal distress, why don't we move on to our main feature?
All right. Well, this week, the season finale of Call Me Cat. That's why we're gathered here tonight. Let's talk it out. Leslie Jordan at his finest. Yeah, no, I didn't even know that was a show. I just saw that headline come up. But I think Mayim Bialik is on it. Mayim
Bialik is on it, yeah.
And Leslie Jordan.
It got such bad reviews that she did like a YouTube video saying, please don't yell at me so much. I was like, oh, boy. I still haven't watched it, but I'm interested.
I wonder if Zack Snyder's going to release a video like that. Okay, let's get into it. So everybody here, there's two big geek news things this week. Everything else kind of falls by the wayside because it's just kind of, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to COVID. But two things happened. One was the Winter Soldier and Falcon, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we'll touch on later. But first, we're here to talk about the Snyder Cut.
Why first?
You want to talk Winter Soldier first?
I'm joking.
I think we're going to tip our hand if we...
The other big news, I thought you were going to talk about how Marvel is releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Right.
Let's cover that news. Yeah, that's awesome. Now they're going to do Disney Plus, but they're going to do the like a premium thing. So you got to like pay VOD.
$30.
Yeah. How long does that last? Usually a couple months, right?
No, you get it. You get it. Well, no, that's HBO Max does the month thing. So when you do the Disney Plus thing, you get it up until they release it. Then it's in Disney Plus. So you have it for the entire time until it's released for the free Disney Plus. So whatever that is, if it's 2-3 months later, you watch Black Widow for those 3 months. Yeah, because we did it for Raya and the Last Dragon, Mulan. We're gonna probably do it for Cruella. I mean, wow, saves me money. I mean, $30 when those are movies we were going to go see in the theater anyway, and I have 5 in my family.
Yeah,
$30 is it's a walk in the park. We can make our own snacks, and the kids don't know how to watch TV anymore. I'm afraid to take them to the theaters because they always have to pause the movie for the bathroom.
Yeah,
they're feral too. So
they are.
I met those kids.
You make some really good points because, I mean, a lot of times I hear people grousing, well, it's $30. I mean, I don't think I'm going to spend $30 to buy it because I live alone. It's not really worth it for me. But yeah, if you have a family, and I'm going to be honest with you, I know people love going to theaters. I still love going to theaters, for the big events, but everyone's crying about, I want to get back in the theater. Remember, before COVID, we were complaining about the theater experience. We were complaining about people being there, like you're saying, kids in the theater talking, jibber jabbering, people on their cell phones and all that.
The people who bring
previews and ads,
like Rob, who brings with them and cuddles
tweeting the whole time. I fall asleep, so. I went to see a movie one time. I saw one of the Hellraiser movies in the theater, and there was nobody in the theater, just my friend and I watching the movie. And these people come in, we hear them come in the back. They sit in the back thing. About halfway through the movie, the guy goes, "This movie sucks." And he started shaking the seats in front of him, and he broke a whole row of seats.
Oh my God.
So yeah, going to the theater is not really the wonderful experience.
But Clive Barker did not like what they were doing to his property.
Well, that's the tip of the iceberg. It was Clive Barker back there, so. Yeah, no, it was actually 2. I think we went to see. I liked it. It was okay. It's all right.
Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, second one's okay. They have that girl with the psychic powers, and it's all right.
It's interesting though. I mean, if Black Widow comes out on Disney Plus and it does really well. That might be more motivation for Disney to go, you know what? We can still make money. Mind you, they were holding off on Black Widow as long as they could because those Marvel movies are like their boom.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Money makers. But with everything else, like with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's a lot. I'm assuming there are a lot of plot points here that are kind of like kicked off with the Black Widow. That they say it's the first movie of Phase 4, so they got to get that movie out there so they can get Phase 4 rolling.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to see stuff in Black Widow that we're going to all of a sudden realize, that was here. We saw this was the callback in the show. That's what I think. Little things. I don't think it's going to be major stuff.
No, I think there's already been rumors for it in regards to because when we talk about Falcon Winter Soldier, we have some people with some superpowers in that. And how do they get those? So is there the character power broker or is there a new super soldier serum? And we know in the Black Widow movie, they've already kind of been laying those tea leaves out there with the Red Guardian and stuff like that. So that might be that kind of stepping stone for why there's a new super soldier serum out there. And it's then leading into what we're getting in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, because initially Black Widow was supposed to come out first, then in the fall it was supposed to be Falcon and Winter Soldier before WandaVision, and then because production stopped on Falcon and Winter Soldier first, they weren't able to finish that until well after. That's why WandaVision got pushed.
Right.
Which is probably a good thing, because I think WandaVision got so much buzz and hype for the MCU stuff on Disney Plus. I mean, I think Falcon Winter Soldier benefited from it more than, let's say, WandaVision would have benefited from being preceded by Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I agree. I totally agree.
It looked like it was, yeah.
But I also think there were people out there, because there were a lot of critics of the show. I mean, even though I loved it, WandaVision, because they wanted what we got in the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know, that big action, the what we expect from Marvel, especially when we've gone a year and a half without seeing anything Marvel. And that's,
sure, but I think that the direction that WandaVision took, being first, that we got to see that first, I think that what it did is it set a table a different way. So everybody, if you remember when that came out, the first 2 episodes dropped and people were kind of critical of them. I wasn't. I thought it was awesome. But a lot of people were online saying they were critical of it. And then as it went on, it really caught fire. If you had come out with Winter Soldier first, I think that WandaVision would have been very strange after this action show.
Yeah,
it might not have gotten the interest.
A lot different. Yeah, they would have wanted more action.
Consider this, though. The first episode of WandaVision spouted a lot of memes. I'm talking a lot of memes.
Tons, yeah.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier has generated one meme.
Yeah.
The reveal of U.S. agent at the very end. With
and people are just ripping on it.
Poor guy. I feel so bad for that Russell kid. I mean,
Kurt Russell's son.
I don't. I mean, he's Kurt Russell's son. What do I got to feel bad for him about?
I mean, honestly, right. Honestly, Snake Plissken is my dad. Honestly, when he came on, I watched it today. When he came on, I thought,
just watched it today.
Yeah, just a little. I've been busy, and then I had to watch a 4-hour. We'll get to it. But when he came on, and I'd already seen the pictures and everything, immediately, as soon as I saw him on the show, I went, well, they wanted him to look goofy. Like they tried to make it online. It seemed like they were trying to make it look like, why did they make this goofy looking guy Captain America instead of, no, that was the purpose. Because if you see that guy in real life, he doesn't look that goofy. They pushed the helmet down so his ears stuck out. He looked kind of like the gremlin from Warner Brothers, mixed with the guy from Up. I thought that meme.
Yeah,
spot on.
I saw Popeye.
Now, is he U.S. agent?
Well, he's John Walker.
Oh, he is John Walker. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, okay. He is cast as John Walker. He has the U.S. agent suit.
Good.
But at this point, he's Captain America, just like in Captain America was it 323? I think that was that issue with the first John Walker. So
spoiler: do we end this season with Falcon picking up the shield or Bucky?
You've already seen in the trailers they show bits with the both of them, messing with the shield.
Right.
So something's going to happen there.
Yeah, somebody's going to step up and be the new Cap.
Yeah.
Lil says no.
No, the reason why Bucky won't get the shield because this I like the story where this is going. I mean, we're already talking about Falcon Winter Soldier.
We'll talk about that first.
Justice League. The story with Bucky kind of finding redemption, finding kind of that peace in himself. And I think that's a great way to go with it because even in the comics, when Bucky took the mantle of Captain America, he struggled with that. He struggled trying to live up to Steve.
Right.
But we're seeing also Falcon having that same problem. He holds Captain America on such a pedestal that, I mean, he didn't even want the shield. I mean, he's there telling them.
I thought that was a fabulous scene. Him donating it to Smithsonian, that was really fantastic. I bought all of that.
I think there's multiple shields. I think it's not just a shield.
You'd see the thing too. Yeah, he donated it, but you could tell he was kind of pressured to do it. Senator's like, oh yeah, you did the right thing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Right, and that dude turns around and gets someone else. I don't want to be mean, but I am no one to talk. But when I look at Wyatt Russell, I mean, he's a good guy, he's a good actor, but man, he did not get the best parts from Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. I mean, like, dude, I mean, you would think a guy with those two would be like an Adonis, and he's like the beard and the hair.
Yeah, I think Kate Hudson got the luck of Goldie Hawn, even though it was Mark Hudson was her dad. How about that? Alil won't even know what that is. The Hudson brothers. Do you know what that is, Alil? No. Okay. No. Never mind then. Although there's a movie called let's see if I can pull this one out. I can't. I actually have it on a Plex server. There is Hysterical is the name of the movie. It's a Hudson Brothers movie. It's awful. Okay. So anyway, and they had a TV show and they were famous, and it was, I mean, at the time it was the 70s, so everything was funny. Right. I mean, you'd watch Lawrence Welk and go, "This is terrible." Ha 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 ha. So yeah.
You see, I didn't watch TV in the 70s because I wasn't born yet.
I don't care what temperature it is. I watch it all year round. Terrible.
The 70s, when David Copperfield was doing comedy with Eugene Levy.
Oh, God.
And we're not talking Schitt's Creek level stuff either.
No. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, anyway. My God. Anyway, now back to, we'll talk about something better than Hysterical now. So we're still talking about Winter Soldier. So, yeah, I'm down with it, man. That first episode, fabulous. I think they're off to a good start. It's an action movie, but it's got some character development. I mean, the Bucky thing, that's rough, man. When they showed him with I'm not spoiling anything, but when they showed him with the guy that
his friend that he was having,
I was like, oh my God, that was pretty rough. And I think Sebastian Stan is doing a hell of a job. So,
well, we're getting here something we got touches of with Cap. You know, like in Winter Soldier was the only time really where we had those few moments where he was out of time, Cap. You know, he had his list with all the music and movies to see and stuff like that. And we are getting that out of time piece. I mean, Bucky keeps, how old are you? 106? You know, and they just laugh it off. And it's like,
with Cap, they made it more of a joke. Like they used him for jokes. Whereas here, I felt for the guy. Like he's not doing like, what's Facebook? You know, it's more like, hey, and then when he came back, he's like, I wasn't myself yet. I'm really feeling for this guy. I wanted him to take the glove off though. When she asked him about the gloves, I want to be like, well, I have a prosthetic, you know.
I thought he was going to say that. I mean, that would have been like the thing to say. Oh, I have a prosthetic, because it's nothing new. But no,
although to him, maybe it is. Maybe that's something so weird. He still doesn't know that people have prosthetics. Not as awesome as his, but
right, because he goes to sleep. All he was was awaken to murder people and then go back to sleep. It's not like he had a life until, and then he lived on Wakanda for, whatever the time between Civil War and Infinity War was in a hut. So it's, it's not like he knows any concept of anything happening right now.
Alil, you act like waking up, murdering people, and going back to sleep is anything new. I call that Wednesday.
Well, then you have a busy life. I do not.
And a new show coming to Netflix by Tim Burton. Okay, I got one laugh. Not a good one, though.
Not going to laugh.
All right. Chris liked it. Look at that smile. Look at that punum. Anyway, Winter Soldier we're all on board with, right?
Of course.
It's awesome.
I suppose. I'll get around to it.
Yeah, Scott will see it.
Okay, wait.
2029.
You were supposed to finish the MCU by now.
Well, I mean, the stuff happened, and then we had to take a break to watch the Snyder Cut.
Stuff happened.
I still have.
Well, we discovered a new TV show on Netflix.
Wait,
have you guys watched Dairy Girls yet?
Yes.
People are always
that is amazing.
That one to me. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's really great. And if you like British Bake Off, they did a holiday special when the cast of Dairy Girls was on, and that was great. Yeah, it's a great show.
Okay.
And the one girl's in Bridgerton, which I give a thumbs down. I tried that one. Ooh,
that was so good.
So you purposely
that was
distracted yourself from finishing the MCU.
Right, but he's admitting he watched Bridgerton before he watched the MCU.
Oh, Bridgerton was amazing. It was just so. I mean, it was schlocky soap opera, but they just sunk their teeth into it and ran with it. And I can appreciate it when they do that.
Yeah, it sunk something. I couldn't take it. Martha and I sat down to watch it, and everyone was recommending it, and we got, a half hour into it and went, okay, can we watch something else? So we switched over to Homecoming. Have you guys seen that? The one with Julia Roberts?
No, I've seen Spider-Man Homecoming.
God, it's so good. It's Sam. Man, I'm having trouble tonight. I always have trouble. Sam Esmail, the one who did Mr. Robot. I'm a huge Mr. Robot fan. This is not Mr. Robot, but it is just as awesome. Yeah, it's great.
I can't get into Mr. Robot because whenever I see that title, I think of the Styx album.
I do say Domo Arigato every time. Every time we turn it on, it would come up and say, Mr. Robot. I go, Domo Arigato. And Martha's like, really? Every time?
Kilroy. I'm Kilroy.
Kilroy. And I've got the hat, and I'm like, it's a Styx thing, Yeah. But it's great. You really, man, you should watch Mr. Robot.
I don't know Styx very well.
I'm going to actually tell you, it was before you were born. I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to use this term for Mr. Robot. It's delicious. It is delicious. I loved it.
That's on our to-watch list.
Homecoming's great, and The Patriot. We watched that this week, too. There's my geek news. We watched The Patriot. It's on Amazon.
Mel Gibson movie?
No. Yes, that was. No, this one is one with
Ledger, right?
Wait, the Harrison Ford movie where he plays Jack Ryan?
Yes.
Patriot Games. Sorry.
Patriot Games. No.
Yes. And then Reindeer Games.
That's the sequel to The Patriot from Mel Gibson.
And the third one is called Reindeer Games, and that has Batfleck in it. This one has Quinn. What's his name? John Locke from Lost. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Terry Quinn. Terry
O'Quinn. Isn't it O'Quinn or is it just Quinn?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just Quinn. He's in it. Another guy, some people. It's really great. It's like really, really great. It was 2 seasons, and that's too bad because it's great. And I'll tell you what, it did get canceled, but for those of you that are going to try it, you're not disappointed at the end of 2 seasons. They pretty much wrap up that story. You get to the end, you want more, but you're like, I got a complete story. It's really very satisfying. It's great. Okay, so anyway, we all watched Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Let's go around first. Everybody had seen the theatrical, right?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Scott's a no. You get an X in your square. A Lil. Okay. I know what you're going to say. What'd you think of theatrical cut?
Yeah, again, I have no, skin in the game here. I just went in for entertainment. It was fine. It was a C movie.
But you're talking the theatrical cut.
Theatrical cut. There were some scenes that I enjoyed. There were scenes I laughed at because they were ridiculous. And, I thought, this isn't a Batman I've enjoyed because I didn't enjoy Batman v Superman. I did like Superman, but I thought that he, even in his own movie up until now, Snyder, for some odd reason, I feel like he doesn't like Superman. He just doesn't care about Superman.
Yeah.
I thought Wonder Woman was awesome every time, except for Wonder Woman 84, but that's another talk for another day. It was fine theatrically. Was the Snyder Cut better? Do you want me to go into that, or do you want me to just go through?
Elliot, what did you think?
About the theatrical cut?
Theatrical.
I'm with Elio. I mean, when I went to see it, mind you, I went in with fairly low expectations because I disliked Man of Steel. I intensely disliked Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
And I just went to see Justice League because, I was reviewing it for the paper, so I might as well just go see it and go from there. And knowing that Joss Whedon had a hand in it, I had my spirits were lifted a bit. But yes, it did seem truncated. Like there were scenes that were missing. The tone was inconsistent. The only thing I liked was the fact that Superman actually smiled and laughed, and was kind of fun for a while, but not a lot of that. That was offset by the weird face thing because they had the CGI, the mustache, and all that, and it's noticeable. I mean, it's noticeable. So
yeah, it is.
But beyond that, I mean, I liked it. Did I love it? No. Have I seen it again since? I've watched it one more time since, but do I want to keep going back and watching it again and again? No.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to speak for our puppet. I went to see it with Chris. Chris had seen it. He says, you got to go with me. It was Marcus Theaters where you get $5 Tuesdays. He's like, I'm buying your movie. You're going with me. Because I was resisting because I had heard such bad things, and I hated Batman Superman. I hated Batman Superman. When I saw it, I saw that one with Chris too. Chris, it's great. Oh, it's great. So we see it. We walk into the lobby. He's like, oh, what'd you think? What'd you think? I go, I don't, it's not good. And he was like, what? I said, I need to process this thing. And then the more I got away from BVS, the more angry I got because it was so bad. Like that whole Martha thing is so bad. And Jesse Eisenberg is so bad. And the spear that Amy Adams, it's so bad. So then when we saw, Scott's like, oh no, you're spoiling the whole movie. I haven't seen it. Yeah, it's bad. So then he wanted to go see Justice League, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, it's really good. Oh, it's really good."
It's uncanny.
I know.
You're like channeling him right now.
I should have been doing this, and then you'd never know it was me speaking. So then I go to that with him, and it happens again. And it's like sitting there with you, like you go to a movie with a kid that loves something, and they're like the whole time, and I'm sitting there going, "Uh-oh, no, don't make eye contact. Maybe if I fall asleep." It's my signature move. I didn't get angry. I just was like, it just was bad. And the thing is, it was from the moment it started, because on the theatrical cut, it's got that scene of Superman, which actually him on the camera floating down and talking to the camera, not a bad concept. CGI mustache, really bad. And like, that was maybe the worst moment of the CGI mustache. And there was a lot of bad stuff in there, but if you watch the movie, that's the one where it literally looks like somebody said, here, let's use a Zoom call and put your finger over his mustache. There you go. It kind of blotted it out. I mean, it's bad. And I sat through the whole movie going, oh my God. And Steppenwolf, I'm like, I saw no motivation. I just didn't get it. It was, and the other thing that irritated the hell out of me was, we had seen Wonder Woman, which was so fun, right? And the women were so tough in that. And then you see this, and immediately they're on Themyscira, and they're in bikinis, and they're doing upskirt shots. And I'm like, this isn't the same thing. Like, now we've just sexualized them, and they're warriors. They're not wearing bikinis as warriors. I was right. It was terrible. Okay. So now I've said my piece. I said my piece too. I liked it. Let's go. I know I keep fooling you guys with that. It's really me.
It's uncanny.
Yeah, thanks. So Snyder Cut. We all sat through this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about Elliott's thoughts on it. I know a little bit about Alil's, and I think I know Scott's. But I don't think you guys know what I'm going to say. I think you know some of what I'm going to say. So who wants to go first?
Let's go in alphabetical order.
Alphabetical, great. Somebody get their shoe off. We got to count. Oh no, it's not math. Okay, so Alil, why don't you go?
I liked it better than the theatrical cut. You know, so if I give it a grade, I'm going to give it a B.
Okay.
I think this is not the movie we would have gotten if Zack Snyder got to finish his movie in 2017.
Correct.
No.
He was able to fix things based on reaction. Also, clearly needs a good editor, because this movie, the slow-mo, and it's all these directors that are coming out of the music video world, like they have good hits. You know, like I don't hate everything that Rob Zombie has done, but I hate a lot of it because it's a lot of repetitive stuff.
Yeah.
I don't hate everything that J.J. Abrams has done, but there's a lot of it that I do hate because it's the same kind of stuff that he does in everything. The same thing here with Zack Snyder. It's 30 minutes of slow-mo. It's reintroducing characters in the movie multiple times when one good scene would have been enough. And I get it at this point. Maybe he's just throwing everything at the wall because, hey, they gave it to me. I can do whatever I want. I want to have every shot in.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a little bit for that. You know, that's why I'm not harping on it. I still am not a fan. Some of the motivation still, I don't get. I think this whole universe was crammed into these 3 movies with Man of Steel, BBS, and this Justice League, where they should have taken their time. They didn't have to do a Marvel Avengers type thing and follow that. But I think instead of introducing multiple new characters in this and trying to get me to love multiple characters at the same time, if you wanted Cyborg to be the heart of the movie, have Cyborg be the heart of the movie. You should have put a Flash movie out before this.
Yeah.
You should have done some of this stuff to introduce these characters. You gave Flash 10 seconds.
They should have done a Batman movie before this to show us this Batman. He's barely in these movies, and he was a douche in this one. Flat out. He had nothing going on.
But Batman's supposed to be a douche sometimes. I mean,
but not this douchey.
I don't know. If you look at some of the Justice League cartoons, if you look at some of the comics, I mean, one of my favorite trades is the Tower of Babel, and Batman's a D-bag in that whole thing. I mean, he figured out a way to kill the entire Justice League to neutralize him, and somebody took his stuff, and he stopped them, and then he was just like, all right, bye, Justice League. You know, but I understand all that. But it's like, I think it's just too much at one time. And again, a lot of stuff where they keep repeating themselves. Was it not having an editor? Probably. Is there a good 3-hour movie in here? A better 3-hour movie in here? Probably.
Yeah, I agree with that. Elliot, you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna name drop and say that I believe I played a part in the creation of the Tower of Babel storyline, and that I know Devin Grayson, who wrote the original Tower of Babel story arc with Mark Waid, and that came from her and I having a discussion over what you think Batman's so good. What if he had to take down, the other Justice League members? And she went, oh, he has plans to do all those things. And then lo and behold,
that's what comes out. Right.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and it's a great story. It's a great story, and it's a great way to look into Batman's head and kind of why he is a D-bag, and why some of this stuff does work in this movie. In the theatrical movie,
he was a D-bag here, but he was a wimpy D-bag.
Cheesy smirk. What is he supposed to do against these gods? Everyone here has superpowers.
He was a dollar store D-bag, though.
Armor. He's rich. That's what he is. He's building giant, massive ships and tanks. He's got a troop transport that's like in Star Wars, but he's got no troops. I mean, I guess it fits. It fits with an older Batman too.
Right.
But my problem is like, well, we never really even got a really younger Batman. I mean, yes, we got the Bale Batman, but we never
That's not this Batman, though.
We never got to really see like the Batman and the Robins and the Nightwing.
I could have done, but I could have done without that if they had done a Batman movie that was a little bit more. They were trying to make him the Dark Knight Returns. And if they had done a story that was a little more like that, Batman has been in hiding. Robin's been killed. That's why he went in. He comes out to rid the city of this stuff, and he finally kills Joker, right?
Well, why is the Dark Knight Returns the playbook for every Batman reboot and every Batman movie series? Why? It's
it made all the people that age fall in love with Batman.
I've ever read.
Right, but it made all of the people that age, because I was in college when that came out, and it was like, oh, Batman's great. Oh, you like Batman. Then you read that, and you were like, Batman's the character. Yeah. And all these guys are in my age group. So that's what it is. We all read it then, and they all got stuck on that. Like, I want to make that dark Batman. So that's what's up.
Batman's a fascist. I mean, I'm sorry, but he's
he is. Yeah, he's making Gotham great again, though.
Yeah, in the comics, he's a fascist. He's everywhere you go, he's a fascist. So,
but he's got great toys. All right, that would mean Elliott is up. What'd you think?
Well, Elliott kind of nailed most of the points for me. I would say, though, it works better like as a miniseries than as a whole movie.
Yeah.
So when they divvy it up into the 6 chapters, like folks have asked me, should I watch it? And I'd go, if you're curious, watch it, but don't try to do it in one sitting. Just like watch 2 chapters, then save 2 more for the following day, and then save the last 2 for the day after that. So that way you can just enjoy it while it's still, goofy for you, dopey, instead of you resenting it for making you sit there and go, wait, didn't they already show that scene? I thought we did that, Yeah. So, because that's what happened to me. It's like there was a lot of I'm like, okay, let's go, let's move things along. We know this, okay? I actually liked Batfleck again in this one for once, although they still, whether in the Whedon cut or in this cut, it still didn't, to me, really explain why Batman has this sudden change of heart between how he felt about Superman in the last movie to this one. I mean, to me, I'd be like, if for him, it wasn't so much, I believe in him now and we need him. It should be like, man, I screwed up bad.
They try to tell you that.
Yeah.
They try to say it, but it doesn't come off well.
Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree with that because he keeps having the nightmare dreams or whatever. And in my view, it's like if you're having these dreams and now Superman's alive, first thing I'm going to do is go talk to the guy. Hey man,
we're getting a lead now. Box and hide.
I bought your mom's house back. Can we talk?
Right.
But that's the thing. He has the dreams about Superman being evil, and yet he decides he's got to bring Superman back.
Right.
And he knows at some point Superman's going to be evil. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You believed these dreams so much that you were ready to kill Superman and do that whole thing, and now suddenly you're like, no, well, anyway. So again, the motivations there made not much sense to me. But here's the thing. It was an incredibly simplistic plot for a 4-hour movie. I know if I had written that script and I pitched it to my editor, like let's say I'm writing a Justice League special and I pitch it to the editor and he wants me to write a 4-issue miniseries, he'd be like, okay, there's one simple through line. There are no complications. There's nothing, there are no challenges here. Everything just goes from A to B to C.
Right.
It's, no one's going to want this. What is it about the story that compels me? And then finally, I didn't care about the characters. I'm sorry. Yes, I feel bad for Ray Fisher that his cyborg role got cut, but I was waiting for this guy to blow me away in his role. I'm like, okay, that's angry guy. It was essentially Cyborg from the 80s.
Yeah.
I was turned into a cyborg. I'm a monster. I'm a pariah. Society's going to shun me and blase, blase, blase. And I hate my father, and which worked in the 80s. But now we're in 2020. I'm going to tell you right now, if I met a guy like Cyborg on the street, I'm going to go, oh my God, monster. Go, holy shit, dude, that is so cool. Wait, you can hack into the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, you can fly? You have pretty much control over everything on planet Earth? Dude, I got to hang out with you, and at no point does he ever go through the whole thing, maybe this was actually kind of cool. So the motivations there from, just didn't hold in today's times, at least in my opinion. And again, the performance was okay, but I mean, I didn't see anything that he was doing that like the TV version of Cyborg wasn't already doing, So,
yeah. Actually, the TV version of Cyborg I like more.
Yeah.
So on Doom Patrol, I like him quite a bit.
Yeah. So, I kept waiting to get wowed, and it wasn't wowed. And then the ending, they changed the ending, on the Snyder Cut. they add Flash having to go, turn back time like Superman in Superman the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. They couldn't get the rights to that Cher song. It's too bad.
And take out my favorite part from this from the Whedon cut, which is when Superman and Cyborg do separate the mother boxes, and there's this big explosion, and Superman's on his back and he's laughing. Oh, we never got to do that again, like giving it a bit of humor there. There was some humor there, and I'm like, holy shit, this was like nothing I expected. But having said all that, watch it as a series. I mean, if you're a DC fan and you liked it, that's great.
So is it better or worse than theatrical, in your opinion?
Well, for me, I'd still prefer the theatrical version because it was done quicker.
Okay. Right. Yeah, we rated on the Lil's Kids Go to the Bathroom scale, and the first one was only 6 times. This one was like, what, 18 times?
They fell asleep.
Yeah, there you go.
They took the miniseries approach as well, which I agree. This is what, I mean, they should have released it like Falcon, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision weekly.
Yeah.
Kind of spread that. And I get, everybody's into the Netflix dump the series out. It just felt like if you want to throw all this on there, Elliott made the perfect analogy that, like, we've already seen this. But if I'm watching it week to week, it's okay if I see it again because,
Although I wonder if you watch it chapter 1 and then wait a week, chapter 2, wait a week, if you would lose interest by chapter 3.
Possible.
Because it does take a while to get there.
Yeah. Once it gets going, fine. But that beginning part.
But then you get the false Lord of the Rings ending, in Return of the King, where it's like 15 false endings, which again, when I watched the Lord of the Rings extended edition, I'm loving it. I'm having a good time. I love Helm's Deep and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm loving the Hobbits. But now I don't have the patience for that. It's been a long time since I've gone back and watched a 4-hour movie.
Get it on, little man. Move it.
And then for all those folks who said, "Oh, this was that they should have let Snyder make this movie and release this movie," and DC was giving up money or losing money because they didn't let him do it, this movie would have lost even more money than the first version of Justice League.
I agree.
Because 4-hour movies do not play.
I agree.
Yeah. That's why this vision, the way it's done, would have never been cut. They would have They would have, just like they did with the Suicide Squad for Ayer and everything. Warner Brothers would have had their own editor and they're cutting it up. Even BBS got cut up and then they released an Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray or something. I believe it was, which was 3.5 hours. And it's like I had to see Batman's parents die 17 times in that cut. And I'm like, why? Why do we have to keep seeing the beads falling? Why do we have to keep seeing
over and over? Yeah.
Secret Life of Pets made more money than Batman versus Superman, so don't tell me that Zack Snyder is your ultimate moneymaker. I'm sorry.
Secret Life of Pets was awesome too.
Yeah, well, he's not. He's not. Zack Snyder is not. He's had hits. 300 was a hit. I think for profit. I think. Why am I drawing a blank on the Horde of the Zombie? Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead and 300 are his two big ones. But again, like those were like music videos because they were shorter.
Yeah.
It's like, give me the slow-mo kick, when he's kicking him in. Give me all that stuff. Great. Dawn of the Dead, give me the running zombies. Give me all that kind of stuff. Give me all the,
Agreed.
The music playing and everybody kind of running. But it's an hour and a half. It's an hour 45. It's not 4 hours of that. And that's where when I'm watching Lois Lane walking from a coffee shop to Superman's memorial in slow-mo, and you have to see all the raindrops hitting and everything. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm sorry, Scott, I know I'm taking up your time, but then the Wonder Woman choir music, like
I was just going to say that
every time,
and they'd do the whole song, or like, here comes the chorus, and it's like, hey, that's a 20-minute piece of music. Oh yeah, we're gonna play it.
Or the people singing Aquaman before he swim, and then let me smell his sweater.
Yeah, what was that?
Come on, what is going on here? Like, cut this.
Yeah.
Why introduce Martian Manhunter at all?
Because
Like,
he
you know,
wanted Green Lantern.
Yeah, he should have. It should have had Green Lantern.
That's the other thing too. That cut a deep moment. You want to eat. So this is a movie where you're trying to set up deep moments, right? And having Martha Kent go check in on Lois Lane. What a great moment they're having. They're talking, kind of bonding. You know, they've lost they've lost Clark and Superman, but to them it's Clark. You know, and they're having that moment, and then she walks out and it's Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, it took all the emotion out of it.
Cut this emotional moment. You just didn't care.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I know all the fanboys are like, oh, who cares? We got to see Martian Manhunter, and I'm like, but you just got to see him stand there. It's not like he did anything.
Yeah, and it was pretty awesome CGI because he looked like a cartoon.
Well, and on top of that, why even have him in there if he's not going to fight at the end? So he just sat back and is like, you guys can take care of this. Steppenwolf's no big deal. I'm just going to sit back and watch, and then I'll tell Batfleck that I'll help you when Darkseid shows up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott. Oh wait, let's do Chris. Oh, I loved it. Okay, Scott. What do you think?
What do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
You're S, right? You are right.
Both S's. All right.
But I think you're going to be a counterpoint. So go ahead.
Me? Okay. I'll start. So yeah, we haven't watched any of the current DCEU films except Shazam, which I know isn't in this. And I wasn't super into the comics. We watched the Super Friends cartoons in the 80s. I'm a big fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman and the Keaton Batman films.
You're disgusting a little
Superman.
right now.
No, because he watches that Christopher Reeve Superman over and over again. Like, what did you do this week? I watched the extended edition, the Donner cut, and I'm like, how many times is that? 15.
Well, I want to start with the negatives. The length. I love a long movie that you can just, really lose yourself in. I love those longer versions of Superman. But on the other side of it, I also love a really crisp, tight movie that is just perfectly paced. And my go-to example for that is always the first X-Men movie. It is kind of on the short side. There's deleted scenes that maybe would have worked in it, but as it is, it's pop, 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 pop. It is perfect. Yeah. Perfect superhero movie. You get some introductions.
Perfect is strong, but good.
Yeah. So the length was something like I agree that it could have been cut down to 3:30 or 2 hour and 45s. Would have been a good one.
That could have worked.
Because there's a midway point where they have their first big battle. I was trying to make mental notes of this, where they have that first battle with Steppenwolf, and that would have been a good stopping point.
Agreed. And then come back for part 2 and we get the big show.
I already talked about this on my show, but I think the best stopping point for this would have been right when Flash hits that mother box to resurrect Superman, and it goes black, and that's the ending, and you're coming back for part 2, right? I mean, Infinity War, Snap, Harry Potter. I mean, like, you have that scene, and it's like we went that first movie without Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right. And it is another movie when it hits that point.
And then boom, it's another movie. Now it comes back, and boom, the mother box is hit. Superman flies out, and that's how you start the movie.
Boy, the first movie would have tanked in the theaters though, because man, that is a slog for that first part.
Right, and the slow-mo, the slow motion. I feel like. And talking about the length, this is clearly what's called an assembly cut. In movie making business, you have the director and the editor. When they're done filming, they create an assembly cut, which is basically they throw in everything, and then they start whittling down. They say, "Oh, this scene's going a few seconds too long." They cut off 3 seconds here, 5 seconds there, and they cut that down, and they eventually get that down to a good length. The one that's coming to mind right now is the assembly cut of Fight Club was 2 hours 45, and the final cut was 2:15. And, it's still perfect. Every scene in there, it works as it is because they got that down. That's what this needed. I wish there was a median version of this that just moved a little quicker. The other thing is the aspect ratio. So it's 4:3 because Zack Snyder wanted the height of the characters
for the
to show that off. Similar to how Steven Spielberg shot the first Jurassic Park at 185 instead of scope 235 because he wanted the height of the dinosaurs to show better. So there is a method to that madness of using, instead of the wide vistas, you have tighter in, but you have that better height. But I kept looking at so many of these scenes, and there's a ton of room above the head and a ton of room at their feet. I'm like, you could have cut that to 166, 177. You still would have had your height, but you would have had a little more tightness, cutting in, getting closer to your eye lines, your jaw lines, getting a little better on that. I wrote down some stuff earlier because I was talking on the forum about this. I'm trying to mentally think of that. So, that's kind of my negatives there. And, but my takeaway is this was stupid fun.
Okay.
This is Batman, Affleck, the bomb and Phantom Joe, Affleck getting together a heist gang to steal an alien artifact in Superman's body to resurrect Superman. It's a superhero heist movie kind of feel to that. And that was just dumb fun. I love this. I loved Aquaman being the broody.
Actually, the movie you just described, I want to see more than what we saw.
we did that. It's called Avengers Endgame, a better superhero heist film.
I'll get there. But yeah, I loved Aquaman being the broody whiskey fish, whiskey drinking fish dinner guy, and the Flash. I don't know why people are bagging on him. He brought the brightness that the movie needed. It was so grim and so dire, and it was a dark story. It had to be. And Flash, this portrayal of Flash, this portrayal of Barry Allen, brought so much light to it, I think. And
Elliot, what were you going to say in there? You had an interjection.
Oh no, I'm just going to say to Scott's point. I mean, I kind of saw that too, but the heist at one point, as I was thinking that, I'm going, oh, they're breaking in, they're going to do this, and it made no sense to me that they were all in costume. It would have been like, if they had just been like as civilians, they can still use their powers. They can still do their thing. It makes more sense for Bruce Wayne to walk into this thing and say, hey, I'm funding all this. So I just came to check things out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Barry Allen was dressed as a military dude at one point, and suddenly he's back in his Flash outfit again. Yes, but to your, yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, a lot of this, and I could definitely see, and from listening to film commentaries and stuff and watching the extras on different movies, I could kind of see how this was clearly an assembly cut. This was not a trimmed for theatrical or even a special edition Blu-ray cut. This was a bit bloated, but it's still something I enjoy. I enjoyed Batfleck. It kind of sometimes even reminded me of the Clooney Batman from several years back. A little bit of that.
Was that a good Batman?
Not a great Batman, but it was an interesting Batman.
He did have a Bat Visa card. So
yeah.
And he had bat nipples. Let's
not just that, but also
pour one out for the bat nipples.
Oh man, and the cod piece on Robin was ridiculous. You should see the hot toy.
Yeah, and but Gal Gadot. I don't know. Gadot. Okay.
We're waiting for Gadot.
Okay.
I thought I was waiting for Gadot. I'm kidding.
Gotta connect the Gadots.
She was absolutely an anchor. She was a pillar of just such a much deeper gravitas to it. She was more solid in that. She had the flashy powers and stuff, but she had the more grounded feel when she was out of her uniform. Even when she was like in her civilian clothes and doing the stuff, you felt that presence there, that quiet, I've got this power, I'm toning it down a moment for now, but I'm still getting stuff done. I'm really excited to see her solo films, especially.
No, film. Don't see the second one, Scott. Trust me. If you come back and
Scott
say you like that one,
because the second one feels like a Donnerverse type movie.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It plays a little Donnery.
No,
the first one,
it does.
The first Wonder Woman feels like Superman the movie, very Donnery in the first one.
And the second one feels, you're right.
It's like Superman 2, where Donna directed, but then they kicked them off the film and they got some other guy to come in and edit it. That's
Richard Lester cut. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like Superman 3 and 4 mixed together, and they cut out all the parts you want to see.
Oh, geez.
You know what?
Nothing wrong with Nuclear Man.
84 is Superman Quest for Peace.
It is.
Oh.
It's pretty much Superman Quest for Peace. Because I remember watching after I said, oh, wait, Superman Quest for Peace came out around the same time. I'm going to watch this. I'm like, holy shit. This was Patty Jenkins' inspiration for Superman 84.
It's so bad.
Own everything. Yes.
It's
okay,
so bad.
well, we'll be getting to it. But lastly, Cyborg. The only Cyborg I remember is from the first Teen Titans run a few years ago, which was a really fun series. Not the Go one, but the first Teen Titans. But yeah, it was a really in-depth story, and they were building a lot to it. And, hearing about how Whedon was possibly, allegedly like really shitty towards Ray Fisher on the set and cut all his story stuff, you can see how that would hurt. I don't know. I just still wasn't wowed by the Cyborg character either. I think when you guys said that, it just wasn't a wow story. It was like, okay, yeah, they're moving that along. It's like, it's moving the plot along. Yeah, we're moving that along. But just like, I wanted to see more of him, like when he was hacking that woman's profile.
Yeah, but
which was creepy, but you see he's trying to get the feel of what he can do good of. And he makes up that Gotham Bank jackpot to give her $100,000.
But isn't it weird that he has a bear and a bull fighting? Like, is that what we think of the stock market?
Yes.
Just a giant bear and bull fighting? It's kind of...
It was like, very simplistic symbolism, and there's probably a fascinating miniseries, 80-episode miniseries or something in that idea of him doing this economic hacking, to help the little people, fighting the 1%, that kind of thing. There's probably an interesting story there, but as a secondary plot to this greater thing, it feels tacked on, unfortunately. And it's meant to be a deeper story because he lost his mother. He's estranged from his father. His father rebuilds him as a freaking robot. And who was saying earlier, just a minute ago, when you guys were saying like, the people were revulsed on the street, but a lot of us would be like, oh, you're cybernetically enhanced. This is the future. Was that you, Elliott?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there would be a lot of us that would be, more accepting of that. We've grown up on sci-fi. We grew up with 7 of 9, type characters, part machine, learning their, relearning their humanity, wanting to be part of society type thing. I think there'd still be, bigoted assholes, but there would be more that would accept them.
I love that the same actor who helped create the Terminators in Judgment Day also created Cyborg in Justice League.
Wait, that's the same actor as Miles?
Same actor, yeah. He played Miles.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, yeah. Same actor.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The father
Joe Morgan.
Of the Terminators is the father of Cyborg. So cool,
Yeah, and he was in Blues Brothers 2000.
Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just rewatched Terminator 2 and recently for like the first time in a long, like straight through for the first time ever. And,
that movie still holds up.
It definitely does.
Yeah. It's really, but Justice League, I liked it. I understand that Steppenwolf was really changed from the theatrical. I don't know what his plot, his motivation was before, but this thing now where he's trying to.
Same thing.
Oh, so
no motivation. I mean, at least this one they gave him one to I don't know.
You know, he's wanting redemption with
dark side. Yeah, I mean, so that's fine. But in the other one, no, there was no Desaad. There was none of that stuff going on.
Really? So he just comes to Earth to knock shit around.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. You know, so it you know, I saw somebody who's like, people are having sympathy for Steppenwolf. I'm like, well, no, not sympathy. I understand why he's doing it. He's telling it. You know, he's an a-hole, but I understand. It makes more sense. Let me say that. It makes more sense of why he's doing it. Yeah, you know, and I was a little puzzled by the epilogue. You know, I wasn't sure what they were doing. You know, because it was a dream. I realized now.
Well, it's not, because if you saw BVS, you haven't seen Batman vs Superman.
No,
he has a similar scene in the same universe. And as he wakes up from that, the Flash, which you see in this epilogue, in that same armor, traveled back in time to warn him, and he tells him that Lois Lane is the key, and that's all he can say. And then we get his other dream sequence, because we get a similar thing too when Cyborg connects to the Superman ship and the mother box and everything. Mm-hmm. He has also those visions of that same dystopian future with Darkseid. Okay. So,
yeah, you know, and I'm piecing it together from old, you know, comics, not, you know, just gleaned comics knowledge from reading discussions about comics, and not always reading them myself and stuff. So I know about some of the stories of Flash changing history and stuff. So that kind of made, you know, I kind of got where that was happening. But overall, I enjoyed this.
All right.
I thought this was just really big, dumb fun. And
I can see your point. I can see how your perspective on it would be like that, especially if you don't really know the other stuff. So yeah, I could see that. You made a good argument.
Okay.
I'm going to make another argument.
So I give it a thumbs up. Where's my thumb? There it is. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, that last chapter where they're on. I kept thinking Apocalypse, because it felt like Apocalypse when they were
They were in Metropolis or Gotham or someplace.
Yeah. They're going, oh, this is actually kind of cool. It's like very splody, a lot of action. It was like nonstop. There was like a good solid 20-minute action sequence, which I would say I could see in the theaters people would enjoy. But
yeah.
Not after sitting there for 4 hours, though.
I'm going to give some bullet points. It was way too long. The acting in general was not good. I'm sorry. I know people thought it was. It was not good. The script was not good. The dialogue was not good. Was it pretty? Yeah, it was pretty. It was fun to watch some of the stuff. That the best parts, like, they were the best parts in the other one too. The scene when Superman goes nuts when he gets resurrected and he fights them. That's a fun scene. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it here too. And in fact, I think the pacing might have been even better on this version of it. The big fight scene at the end was way better in this one than it was in the original. The original, there was no motivation for Steppenwolf that you could tell. And it was just a big dumb fight, and it just kind of ended, and it was dumb. And they had that whole like Ukrainian family thing. That was just awful. Here, it was better. It was better. So the action scenes, I did like them. I thought the stuff on Themyscira was better too. It was crap the first time. This was better. I understood why they had, you know, all weapons on the mother box. Like it all made sense. And when he was killing people, I mean, you felt like, oh wow, he just killed a whole like building full of women. Like that was, I didn't feel that the first time. I felt nothing the first time. So bad dialogue, bad acting, lack of motivation. Like the character development was not there. And the stakes were not bad because they fixed Steppenwolf. But as Elliott said, when you talk story development, you should have these peaks and valleys, and there should be conflict in there, and you have something happened, boom, it goes back down here, and they've got to solve this. And they didn't have that. They had, we have to get to this point, end of chapter 1. Now we have to get to this point, end of chapter 2. There was no conflict happening. They had that nice fight, the first Steppenwolf fight. Okay, we finally got something, but did you care about the characters? I didn't. And I take umbrage, Scott. Flash sucked. I couldn't stand when I saw it in the theatrical cut. He was okay. I was like, okay, comic relief. He's doing all right. When I watched it here, I was annoyed by him every time he hit that screen. And I think it's because that added scene that looked kind of cool, but it was not nearly as good as the Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. This should have been better than that, right? It wasn't even close. When he did the thing where he had the hot dog, yeah, right. Oh, Elliott. He's trying to stop me from saying what I'm going to say. When he was laying there with the dogs and the hot dog, I know that was supposed to get a laugh. All it did was make me mad. I just was like, oh, this is awful. What am I doing? And then I kept pausing it. Martha was sitting here doing a puzzle while we watched it because she had no interest. Molly watched it with me. I swear I must have hit pause 10 times during this movie going, oh, shit, there's another 3 hours. Oh, shit, there's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It kept happening. It kept happening. With
that scene, though, I did like him breaking out of his shoes. I thought that was kind of a cool visual.
I did too.
To show how fast it was, but
I did like that, but it wasn't Days of Future Past. Yeah, Elliott.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it was kind of cool. But wait, so he touches his shoes because he's going so fast, his shoes shatter. He touches the glass shatters. He touches the girl's face, nothing happens.
Right.
Well, he slowed it down, because he did that too when he was when he was trying to stop to take back to. I get it, Al. Believe me.
Right.
Don't make me try to defend this. They
didn't make it clear enough, though. Just like my criticism of Wonder Woman jumping down that tunnel, and the first thing I thought is, how did she not break a heel? And Scott wrote back to me and said, magic. Okay, so she has magic clothes because she jumped down that thing.
Well, to go back to Superman, the original Superman, when Superman first comes up and Lois is hanging off the helicopter, and he grabs her and he grabs the rail, where's my hand? And he grabs the landing.
We've been asking that this whole show, Scott.
Of the helicopter, and he's able to lift the helicopter from the bottom. People are like, wait, why wouldn't the weight of the helicopter bend down off of its landing strut? And the explanation is that, Superman kind of creates a kinetic tension of things he's holding. And it holds them intact as he's forcing,
like
and that was, when I see Wonder Woman landing on high-heeled shoes,
it's not going to work on high heels.
I just say it's the same. I just think it's the same thing.
She didn't land on her toes.
They're wedges. They're not heels.
No, these were heels. These were heels. When she's in the white dress, she hits, you watch it, she hits flat-footed. So the heel is going, get out of here, Elliott.
She's got orthopedic cushion.
Dr. Scholl's cushion.
Dr. Scholl's, the real hero of this movie.
I think both Rob, you brought it up, and Elliot, you brought it up too, like the peaks and valleys of the story. Whenever you have this ragtag group getting together to fight the big bad, they have to lose, right? There's like this.
Right.
I don't take that scene where they saved all the people that they were looking for the mother box as a loss. And there is no struggle. They have the mother box, and their idea, I don't even think they realize that they probably could have defeated Steppenwolf without Superman.
Right.
At that point. But they just come up with a theory that they need Superman no matter what. Like, that's our plan. And there is no...
Ultimately, Wonder Woman cut his head off.
Right. And
Aquaman, they had her.
Speared him. I mean, all Superman did was punch him a few times.
Right. And Batman stood there. I'm rich.
Well,
I mean, I do have to defend Batman in the final battle where he gets in the Batmobile and he draws off the parademons into the city. He pulls off, squads and squads and squads worth of the parademons to let the other team get in closer to the tower without as much resistance. So there was a point
through them.
Yeah, right.
So fast. Why doesn't he just run through everybody and just murder them all? Just have splatter all over them.
I mean, literally, he could have done that. He could have just run through and just killed everybody, and it would have been an instant.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were like bulletproof parademons because you just shot them with whatever and they fell over.
Right.
They're like stormtroopers in armor. What's the point of the armor?
Right.
Shoot them to death.
And if you watch it, they shoot about it as well as the stormtroopers do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept stealing one Parademon's gun and shooting all the other ones. I'm like, all right, it's not like these guys are tough to kill.
How about when Batman grabbed that big cannon thing and he was shooting? And what I thought right away was, would they have the same type of trigger system? Like, how did he know how to shoot that damn thing?
Well, the Avengers did it with the Shatari weapons. I'm not going into there. They pick up the weapon. A weapon's a weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to argue.
a gun's a gun at a certain point.
Yeah, it's fine, but again, this was repetitive as well. I mean, we've already seen this in the Avengers, and the Avengers got them together better because they actually failed. They actually had moments where then they were all apart. There was none of those moments here. They had a little, they were arguing a bit, but then they resurrect Superman, and then he flies away with Lois. And it's like...
Man, they love the poses in this too, don't they?
Oh, they did multiple. I mean, they did 4 Avengers movies worth of poses in this one movie. I mean,
can someone explain to me why Superman went with the black outfit? I mean,
I was told on my podcast when we talked about this, and my 2 co-hosts are big DC and Snyder fanboys. That as he was walking through them, he chose the black suit because he wasn't ready for the red and blue. Ugh. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you that then. Fine. Let's go with that theory. But then at the very end, when everyone's in the first false ending and you're seeing everybody, and he rips the shirt off to be Superman, why is he still in the black and silver? Like, shouldn't he then be Superman because he came back, helped defeat Steppenwolf, is established in the Justice League, he's back, right? Like, and then in the future, dreamscape, he's in the red and blue. So it's like, why are we still playing with the black suit? And then why are they hanging this giant banner with the same black suit? Who knows about this black suit? Who knows to have a silver S? Why is Metropolis having this giant banner on the bridge of his suit, predicting his suit?
Yeah.
So the only other reason I could think of for him choosing the black suit was knowing he was going to have to go up against a warlord. He wanted to dress in something to show this guy that he's serious. To show Steppenwolf that he's serious, that he's going to say, you want to be a warlord, I will be the warrior protecting my planet. But then he should have changed into the red and
silver. Well, I mean, his armor is the hope, is the red and blue. And
I don't think he's talking to some fashion consultant about what colors mean before he goes into battle.
In the comic, it made sense because it was a regeneration suit. It absorbed the sunlight. He needed that.
And maybe that's what it was, but they didn't show us that.
Yeah. How do you not? The movie's 4 hours and 2 minutes long. You can drop a line. I need this suit because regeneration.
Oh God, you're just packing this full of stuff, aren't you, Lil? My God.
Well, if you stopped 5 slow-mo scenes, you could have told us that scene.
One opera cut would have taken care of it.
Yeah.
Elliott keeps trying to talk.
No, but to the point, no. The Kryptonian battle armor was one of his options.
Right.
The same battle armor that Zod wore. So if he was going to war and wanted to show that he's,
I thought he was going to put it on when they showed it.
Kryptonian battle armor. I'm here.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. So, anyway.
But instead, he was like, hey, I've got this black suit. I'm going to go with this.
He wanted the emo thing, like Peter Parker did.
It was a more formal event.
But if he had his hair down and did the dancing with the guns, this movie would be the greatest movie ever made. But he didn't.
Yeah, he should have played flute. That would have been awesome. Yes.
That was the thing why I hated Man of Steel so much. They turned Superman into an emo character.
Right.
I'm like, Superman is the most powerful guy on the planet. On top of that, add to it, he's freaking Henry Cavill. He has none of the awkwardness that the Christopher Reeve Clark Kent had. He's just a hunky guy. He can have any gal he wants. He can do anything he wants. Why are you so down on things, dude? Like, come on.
Well, that's every character in this movie except for the Flash. They're all brooding, and Wonder Woman's upset. I don't have Steve Trevor has to
There's
keep
no
dropping that
joy
over and again. Even though in Wonder Woman 84 she got over that which was a prequel to this movie. Yeah,
Right.
It's still up. Batman, of course, is Batman. Cyborg is brooding. Aquaman's brooding. Oh, my mom left me and all this kind of junk.
It was all brooding. All brooding all the time.
You bring in the Flash for a couple of joke scenes.
Yeah.
Is that enough to balance this out? No.
No, we should have seen the Boy Scout Superman. I mean, that's who he is. He is the big blue Boy Scout. And you can tell a dark Superman story, but you need to have him be the light in that story.
Well, and
like the Dark Grimace story.
But the problem too is Zack Snyder has never given him the opportunity to be that light.
Yeah,
right.
He had like 20 lines in BBS.
Well, honestly, you guys are forgetting. Originally, it wasn't Ben Affleck that was cast in this; it was Robert Smith. So the whole emo Superman from The Cure. Okay.
Oh my God!
I swear.
I blame Chris for that joke.
Yeah, I was taking
terrible.
I was going to say, really? Oh, you
got fished in. All right, we need to wrap this up. So, bottom line is, it's watchable. We're kind of saying break it up, or if you're Scott, it's fun. But if you break it up, it might be more fun for you.
And hey, if
we did it over 2 nights.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed it, great. But for all you Snyder fans out there who are like, oh my God, I can't believe that you don't think this is the greatest thing ever. You're getting worse than fans of The Wire. I mean, because fans of The Wire will berate you if you don't think The Wire is the best show on television.
Right.
I haven't seen that one either.
Or Star Wars fans who hate the one thing and not the other. I mean, you're becoming toxic fandom.
Right.
You know, and that's what it. And like I said it on my own podcast, you know what? This movie is not for me. Great. They loved it. I'm happy you guys got to see something that you guys love. I'm happy for it because I got to live that with the MCU. Like they haven't
exactly.
Some of the movies haven't been the greatest, but they haven't disappointed me. I haven't left the theater crying to myself that this was the worst thing I've ever seen. A lot of the DC fans did after Justice League. After Justice League, I mean, people were
they felt betrayed.
Yeah. And I'm happy you got your movie that you wanted to see. I'm happy you got this 4 hour.
Don't push for a Justice League 2 though, please. Wait, just get a comic book version.
There's already trying. They're already trying.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen because it's going to cost way too much. And they got 1.8 million, I think, views or something over the opening. Wonder Woman 84 had more views during the same span.
Right.
Than this. And that's the problem. If you're going to go less than that, this movie needs to be, I'm not talking Endgame level. I'm talking, $1 billion franchise, and they haven't really pulled that off, with Batman and Superman. Aquaman broke the billion, which was great. I'm not saying the movie was great. I'm saying great for them, but I don't think they can keep this going at the cost.
No.
It cost them to keep this up.
No. Yeah, no, they've got to, I've seen the argument thrown out several times is they tried to rush into the big Avengers thing without doing the build up that the Marvel did. And you really had to.
Well, they tried to build up because Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern was supposed to be the kickoff here. And that bombed.
Ironically, it was a kickoff to this, wasn't it?
So then they rebooted again.
Yeah.
They bombed, and then they're like, Zach, and because I think David Goyer did Man of Steel because he came from, because they wanted Nolan to take the whole thing. Nolan's like, no, I'm done. I gave you burn. And that's, that's how Snyder got in.
But he was executive producer on it, and he even gave notes that they ignored. Nolan said, maybe you shouldn't have Superman do this, this, and this. Does it like the whole killing Zod thing at the end? He said, that doesn't work. But they ignored him. And they're going, holy shit, Chris Nolan actually got the character better than the guy who actually had in the movie. So.
Right.
I kind of want to see Tim Burton's Superman at this point. I want to see Nick Cage in the suit. Bring back Nick Cage in the suit with the mullet.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Wow, I want it.
Now, I would watch a 4-hour cut of that. And I would do it now, tonight. I'm tired and I'd do it. All right. Let's. Huh?
Have you read the script?
No, not yet. That's the one that Kevin Smith won, right?
It's actually not too bad.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about it a lot. That's why I didn't read it. Because he was like, I just kept throwing stuff in because they wanted me to throw stuff in. So I didn't bother. I was like,
well, because the producers, that's the other problem here with the DC universe and Warner Brothers is they have too many starts and stops.
Yeah.
So these budgets keep rolling over into these other projects.
Right.
Like Superman Returns at the end of the day cost them because of Superman Lives and all that stuff that they went through with the Tim Burton, and then was it JJ was attached? But there's a whole bunch of people attached, a whole bunch of the story. It ended up being like a $400 million budget because they had to eat the 200 plus that they already spent on trying to get to Bryan Singer. So that movie was set up to fail.
Right. And
then that movie fails. And because they got to cut. And they did the same thing here, with this Justice League movie. Ryan Reynolds movie didn't make the money. They're rolling the budget. It's like you're this rolling snowball of money. You got to make it up somewhere. And they haven't really made it up anywhere.
Right. All right. Yeah. I'm ending this thing. Guys, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yes.
You're all invited back 1 year from now. We're doing an anniversary of the release. It's like our own D-Day. We're going to celebrate it about the release of the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut of this show?
Yes.
4 hours?
Yes, that's what we're going to do. So I was talking to the guys on our Capes and Lunatics podcast today, and they're like, we should do something. I said, 1 year from now, and we'll do a Zoom call with like 50 people. We're going to sing Imagine. Will be Balder.
Probably.
So he'll have a Brazilian across the face too. Then, so he'll just
be even more.
Just be skinned. Yeah.
Do you need a half hour? Do you need a half hour's worth of footage of me brooding in slow motion?
No, I've already got that. So
I don't think you're brooding.
But we are going to take these shots.
Yeah, we need Elliott running like that.
Elliott running, but I'm going to put that opera behind it, so it's going to be just. Oh my God, that's going to be a masterpiece. Yeah, that's the Snyder Cut one. Is the name of that one. See, that's a fart joke. See, Chris loves it. He loves it. Yeah. All right. Does anyone want to give their social media? Elliott, social media.
You can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at Elliott Serano, 2 L's, 2 T's, 2 R's. You can also find me on Facebook at King of Geeks Chicago.
And follow him. Elliott's a lot of fun. Alil.
You can follow me at the League of Geeks on Twitter at LOGEEKZ. We're also on YouTube at the League of Geeks, the League of Geeks podcast, League of Geeks Facebook, everywhere else. I don't really post on my own personal page, so I'm not that cool. I follow Elliott though, but
no, we knew that.
I almost got suspended again today, so yeah.
Did you? Nice. Well done.
I saw your
God.
Yeah, I'm over here. You keep pointing the wrong way. I'm on Twitter and Tumblr as Scotty Smurf, and I'm on Instagram as Milo Bloom 74. And if you're following me on Instagram lately, I'm opening Time Spiral Remastered from Magic the Gathering. So I'm posting new packs daily.
Nice. And you can follow me, my personal stuff. I don't tweet, but I'm at R Southgate, or follow me on Instagram at Rob Southgate. Better yet, just go to our website. Go to southgatemediagroup.com. We got new pages. We're all updated for our shows. We've got Buy Me Coffees on there. We've got our Patreon stuff. We've got it all. And you guys, Elliott, keep running. And you're going to turn back time, and I'm going to say this all again. And those of you that listen all the way through this, that means you had the Patreon. So, crack. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you for listening. We were a little under 4.5 hours, so we did a good job. Nice work, everybody. Right. And we wish to see Chris back here soon. Chris,
that man is a saint.
Yes, he is. And Chris, thanks for coming.
You're horrible.
Oh wait, he makes me say this. Enough said. Enough said. Enough said.
I was just about to say, didn't say enough said, but all right.
All right, that's it.